Hello fellow humans! Also, excuse the hair, I just washed my hair today and it hasn't fully dried yet and I kinda have to film this now. But I don't really know when this video is going to come out, but as of now it is 2 days to Christmas and I'm making my parents their Christmas present. Now, Christmas in our family is more of a family thing and we have the tradition of traveling on Christmas. Usually we travel somewhere and then stay there for a few days and then travel back home. And it's really fun. Last year we couldn't really do that, so we just had a day trip on Christmas, which was still pretty fun. And this year we're also planning to travel to a few different places instead of just one place and staying there, because we also have other time restrictions on our own. Life is great, isn't it? But because our Christmas is so much more family centered, presents aren't really that big of a deal, so I'm not really giving them the greatest present. I'm trying to give them something they'll like and maybe something that they'll just be able to display around the house without having to give too much thought to it. So I just wanted to make them like a little clay pot. Now hopefully this does get ready in time for Christmas, because as of now it's not finished and I hope that it works. So I didn't have any air drying clay for this project and I did not really want to use what was left of my polymer clay all on this one project, so I decided that I would make the clay myself. Now I did halve the original recipe which I was using, and in the recipe it called for half a cup of cornstarch. I did a 1/4 cup of corn flour and I'm hoping that still works, and it called for 4 ounces of glue per half a cup of cornstarch. Now, I don't use ounces. I barely know what ounces are, and I don't know if they meant a fluid ounce or, I don't know, a dry ounce. I don't know what the other one is. But I heard it had to be a 1-to-1 ratio with the cornstarch, so I used this advanced technique to pour in the glue, and that is eyeballing. I just eyeballed the glue in, made sure it was about 1-to-1, and then I moved on with the rest of my recipe, which was adding a tablespoon of canola oil. I mixed that, and the next step was to add in either lemon juice or vinegar, so preferably some sort of acid. But I don't know if you're ever going to make this recipe, but my lemon juice stank so badly while doing this dough, so I don't know if you would want to use vinegar because that would stink a lot more. So I went to pour my lime juice, and I didn't think this would make a difference, but the only problem was that this lime juice had gone bad. So I took one look at this spoon and then went to squeeze myself half a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. I don't know why I just didn't do this in the first place. Maybe I was too lazy to cut up a lemon and squeeze it. But in the end, that's what I did. I mixed it all together and then I had to microwave it. And don't worry, I didn't microwave it in this container, but after the microwave, it kind of looked like this, and I thought the recipe had gone horribly wrong and I was done for. But I just tried to add in some more oil to loosen it up and then mixed it all around, and it seemed to kind of fix the problem. I may have added too much oil, or maybe that's how much oil was needed to first get the dough to a good consistency, but I just had to sprinkle on a bit more corn flour after that, and it seemed to turn out actually pretty well. I just kneaded the dough and then I added in more corn flour when I felt like it was still a little bit oily, and in the end I had a pretty good finished product. It felt like very smooth Play-Doh and the consistency was very fun to play with. But the smell was awful. The lemon juice was really peeking out of there, and it was almost nauseating. So I don't know if anyone would want to use vinegar. I don't know, maybe vinegar would actually smell less in this case, but I would suggest not using vinegar. Then I got this pot, and originally I was just going to use this as a reference to wrap my dough around and then take the dough off, but in the end this dough is so incredibly sticky. Maybe that's my fault for not adding enough corn flour, but it's so sticky, and once it sticks onto itself you cannot get it off or anything. So you're basically kind of stuck with it if it moves any other way other than the way that you intend. While trying to do this step, you can see that I accidentally flipped the clay on itself and it literally does not detach. So I just give up. And I tried this method, which honestly kind of worked better, but I kind of hate that it worked better because I was kind of mad at the dough for sticking to itself. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had the better plan. So, then I decided to make this tray sort of thing, which was ideally going to be used as a jewelry holder, but honestly, this was a bit of a difficulty to work with because I ended up placing it on top of an old foam ball that I had from like a year 5 science project. So I placed it on that to give it a bit of a curve, only the dough ended up sticking to the foam. I was hoping it wouldn't, but if you're ever trying to do this, just put like a plastic bag to separate the ball from the dough so that the dough does not stick onto anything except for the plastic bag. I got this clay pot finally, and I just barely managed to pry it off this reference pot. And if you're ever going to do this, definitely put something between the reference pot and the actual clay so that you can take it off easier, because this was so difficult for me. Also, I should tell you that I did give up on that dish thing that I was making the other day because it really wasn't working out and it kind of stuck to the ball, and then I couldn't take all of the clay off in one piece. So just don't do what I did, and that's just as a warning to you. So I took out my trusty pool noodle, and then I marked out where the pot ended when I put the pool noodle in the pot, and then I started cutting underneath that so I could put that foam bit into the pot and it could settle down and I could put other stuff on top of it without needing to fill the entire pot with something. Now ideally I wanted to stick a picture of my family all together out of this pot, but I wasn't able to do that. But that is an idea available if someone else wants to try it. Well, thank you for watching. I hope that you're having a good day. I hope that you continue to have a good day, and I will see you next time.